Morning, class. As you can tell, I am again not here. This time I am at a math training, so I will be back tomorrow on Wednesday. A few things that I would like for you to do right now. Please turn in your homework from yesterday, which was workbook page 146. Please put that into the basket. You will not need Chromebooks today, and as a reminder, since I've been gone on Monday and Tuesday, on Wednesday we will review Lesson 7.1, and on Thursday we will review what we're going to do today, Lesson 7.2. So just as a reminder, we'll be reviewing those when I come back. So please turn your homework into the basket, pause the video, and when you get that done, you can restart the video. Our essential question today is, how can you classify two angles as complementary or supplementary? So yesterday we talked about adjacent and vertical angles. Now we are going to talk about complementary and supplementary. So the first thing that I want you to do is I want you to look at this graph. This graph represents the measures of complementary angles. Use this graph right here to complete this table. And then see if you can figure out how you will know when two angles are complementary. Please pause the video, allow students to try to fill in this table right here, and come up with when do they believe that two angles will be complementary. Hopefully you had some time to fill out this graph. If we know that y is 80, then x is going to be 10 for that first one. If we know that x is 20, then the second one would be 70. When we know that this is 65, it's going to be approximately right here. We know that this is approximately 25. We also know that this is 60 and 30, as you can see right here, 30 and 60. This one is going to be 45 and 45. We can also go, this y one will be 40. 40 goes with 50. And our last one, when x is 75, y is 15. Hopefully you were able to come up with that the angles are complementary when they add up to 90 degrees. This time I want you to come up with a similar activity. This graph on the right represents the measures of supplementary angles. Use this graph to complete the tables. And then again, so complete this table right here. How do you know when two angles are supplementary? Please pause the video, allow students to come up with the answers, and hopefully they can figure out when two angles are supplementary. Hopefully you were able to come up with, if x is 20, which would be about right here, we would have 160 for that first one. If it is 150, we're probably going to be between 20 and 40, which is going to give us 30. If it is 60 on the bottom, we will have y being 120. 90 and 90, which will give us right there. And when we have 50 on the y, which is right there, we will have 130. 140, which gives us there, gives us 40. And then 30 will also give us 150. When you look at all of these angles, hopefully you figured out that the two angles are supplementary when the two angles add up to 180 degrees. Our next examples ask you to determine whether or not the statement is always, sometimes, or never true. Please pause the video and answer the questions to the best of your ability using always, sometimes, or never. Please restart the video and I will have answers for you shortly. In our first one, if x and y are complementary angles, that means they add up to 90 degrees, then both x and y are blank acute. They always are acute if they are complementary. They cannot be any angles that are right or obtuse if they are complementary, because they add up to 90. So that is always. Example B, if x and y are supplementary, then x is blank acute. Sometimes it could be acute. It does not have to always, because x could be the bigger of the two. They could also both be right if they need to be. In example C, if x is a right angle, then y is blank acute. I had to think about this one, but I believe it goes with the question above it in that they are supplementary. So if x is a right angle, then y is never acute, because it can't be either complementary or right angle would have to be the only two. And the last one, if x and y are complementary angles, then x and y are blank adjacent. Yesterday our adjacent word was next to. These are sometimes next to. Just because they are complementary does not mean that they have to be next to each other. So our two key ideas today are complementary angles. Two angles are complementary when the sum addition of their measures is 90. For example, 30 and 60. These two angles form a right triangle, so they are complementary angles. Our second key idea is supplementary angles. Two angles are supplementary when the sum of their measures is 180. Therefore, they add up to 180. 135 and 45 add up to 180. These are supplementary because we have a straight line. Tell whether these are complementary, supplementary, or neither. In the first one, when I add 110 plus 70, I get 180. Therefore, this is a supplementary angle. In example 2, 41 plus 49 gives us 90. Therefore, they are complementary angles. In these two, you can kind of tell that it is not a straight line, but one way to prove it, and math is about proving things, is 62 plus 128 gives us 190. That does not equal supplementary, complementary, so our answer is neither. Please try these three examples to determine whether they are complementary, supplementary, or neither. Please pause the video, and when you are ready, please start it again, and I will have some answers. In our proof of the first one, 26 plus 64 equals 90. Therefore, those are complementary. 136 plus 44 is 180. Therefore, those are supplementary. And in the third one, 70 plus 19 is 89. Therefore, those are neither. In our next examples, we did some of these yesterday. First off, we have to determine whether they are complementary or supplementary. In the first one, you can tell that these are complementary because they add up to 90. In the second one, we have a straight line, so these are supplementary. When we do this, we know that 4x plus 36 will equal 90 because these are supplementary. Our job is to get the x all by itself, so we are going to subtract 36 from both sides. That gives us 4x equals 54. We then want to get the x by itself, so we divide by 4, which gives us our answer of 13.5. So x is 13.5. In the second one, we know that x plus x minus 4 gives us 180. When we combine like terms on this second one, we get 2x minus 4 equals 180. So we've combined the x and the x. To get 2x, we keep the minus 4. To get the 2x all by itself, we add 4 to both sides. So we will get 2x equals 184. Again, after that, when we get to divide by 2 to get the x all by itself, we will get x equals 92. So this is 92, and this is 92 minus 4, which is 88. The first angle, hopefully you can determine that it is supplementary. The second angle, you can hopefully determine that it is complementary because of the 90. Please pause the video. Try to find the value of x for each of the two problems. Restart the video when students are ready. in this first one, we have 4x plus 5 plus 41 equals 180. So when we combine the 5 and the 41, we get 4x plus 46 equals 180. We are then going to subtract the 46. We will get 4x equals 134. We will then divide by 4, and we will get 33.5. In the second one, you can see we got 31. Now, hopefully you knew how to do that. Was x plus 2x minus 3 gives us 3x minus 3 equals 90. So we get rid of the minus 3 by adding 3. So we will get 3x equals 93. When we divide by 3, our answer is 31. Don't worry about number 6. We will do that when I return on Wednesday. Please tell whether the statement is always, sometimes, or never true. Pause the video, allow students to try to come up with these, and start it when you are finished. If x and y are supplementary, that means they add up to they add up to 180 degrees, then x is right. It is sometimes, because we could have two 90-degree angles. Number 2, if x and y are complementary angles, then y is acute. If they are complementary, they have to add up to 90. Therefore, if y is always going to be acute. If x is a right angle and y is an acute angle, then x and y are supplementary angles. If x is 90 and y is less than 90, they cannot equal 180. So that would be never. So as a reminder, today we have talked about complementary angles. They are two angles that add up to 90 degrees. And we also talked about supplementary angles. Those are two angles that add up to 180 degrees. Today your homework is workbook page 150. When you are finished, please work on something quietly. You may turn that into the basket. And this will be due on Wednesday. I look forward to seeing you guys again on Wednesday, and have a great day.